All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we have a big update on Errol Spence Jr. from Frank Martin. A lot of misinformation going on around, and Frank Martin helped correct a lot of it. So let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 100, I do believe, 54-pound division and 140-pound division as Frank Martin, former opponent for Gervonta Davis, gives a wide-ranging interview on a lot of different topics on Fight Hype. Shout out to Fight Hype for that great interview, and he reveals the state of Errol Spence Jr. and where his mind is. And from there, I think we can make some real assumptions as to when we're going to see one of the most exciting fighters in boxing back in the ring. But also understand why there's a possibility that a guy like Errol or a guy like Gervonta Davis may at a certain point in time in their career, a little bit earlier than we'd like, say, you know what? I'm sick of this. I've got my money. I'm tired of you guys mistreating me, and I'm done. Now, before we get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for checking me out. Please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can know when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you. And thank you to everybody that supports in the Cash App of videos like this, in the Cash App on the channel, and also people that support in the super thanks of videos like this. It goes a long way to helping keep the channel going. So thank you guys very much. Now, let's get into this. Frank Martin is one of my favorite lightweight fighters. He fought the last time he was in the ring. He had an unsuccessful bid at the WBA 135-pound championship against Gervonta Davis. The fight ended in a knockout. However, the fight did very, very well on pay-per-view. Frank Martin made a considerable amount of money in the fight. But unfortunately, since then, Frank Martin has been absent. And so Fight Hype asked him about that, asked him about a lot of different things. But what I want to focus on in this video is when they asked him about Errol Spence Jr. and what is going on with Errol Spence Jr. And the answer was, man, I hated the answer. I really hated the answer. And this is what the answer was. He said that Errol is still working out. He's in shape, he's working out, but Errol's mind is not on boxing. Errol's mind is on other things, on farming, on buying land, on taking the money that he's won in boxing and going on to the next phase of his life where he can take advantage of that through several businesses and other investments that he owns, that he holds. So you can see, and he'd been talking about that in between the fight between Yordenis Ugas and the fight that he had with Terrence Crawford over a year later, then you could see that that's what Errol was doing. He had moved out of the city. He had moved to the country. He got a big plot of land on the country. He's trying to buy land on the next lot, right? So his mind is there. But the thing that struck me is when Frank Martin said that, you know, you get tired of this stuff. That, you know, people don't appreciate you and the work that you do. And like, no matter what you do, certain people are going to like you and a whole bunch of people are going to dislike you. And at a certain point in time, that gets old and people get sick of it. And they say, hey, man, I got my money in my pocket. I might be done with this. I got to tell you that is one of the worst possible things that you could hear from a guy like Errol Spence. Somebody that has fought his heart out. Somebody, every fight he has, he goes all out every fight. He's always trying to fight top level competition. He cuts people fair deals in fights to make fights. But yet he feels as if he is not appreciated by fight fans. and gets tired of all of the back and forth and the Errol is on this and Errol did that, a drunk ain't this, and he's on steroids and, he's ducking Terrence Crawford and all of that stuff. Now, I would say, obviously, that some of that stuff just comes with the territory. For sure. When you are a celebrity or where you're somebody that is a public figure, criticism is going to come from with that. However, I proposition that the type of pressure that Errol Spence Jr. has received is well beyond what normally should be taking place in sports. Errol Spence Jr. and Gervonta Davis were the victims of very much coordinated attacks within the boxing media to play down their success, to hype up all of their foils or foibles, whatever mistakes they make in their life, and to hang on them like gnats. That right there over time is going to wear somebody down. And that is not what fighters had been dealing with before that, because this is a 24/7 news cycle. And there's and especially in YouTube boxing, where they're not just doing things like, looking at it from an angle that may not be complimentary of Errol, or looking at it from an angle that may not be complimentary of Tank. They're not just doing that. They are out and out trying to destroy these people's reputations, trying to actively request people not buy their fights by running down and refusing to even rate PBC fighters fairly on their top 10 pound for pound list. So this is not some normal thing that everybody in the history of boxing or everybody has experienced. No, it is not. It is far too coordinated. It is far too consistent, and it is way too effective in making people believe things that are not true. Like, take, for example, Gervonta Davis and just me as a fan, right? Imagine me as the frustration that I have as a knowledgeable boxing fan, right? I'm not going to say hardcore boxing fan or a casual fan. I'm going to say a knowledgeable boxing fan. It's hard for a knowledgeable boxing fan to listen to what you guys are doing to Gervonta Davis and see that you're actually trying to do this man any service by your criticism. You're not doing him services to his criticism when you lie about his pay-per-view numbers and call it a flop. You lie about Errol Spence Jr.'s pay-per-view numbers, call them a flop, lie about their competitors' numbers. And even if their competitors don't have numbers, you just start talking about how much money they're making, even though they know that the fights are losing money. So, and then pressuring people to always leave the PBC to go somewhere else to fight, even though that's where their home is. That can lead somebody to say, I'm sick of this. And as a result, you can start seeing these younger fighters taking money grab fights, right? Like, what did Gervonta Davis consider doing? He considered fighting Jake Paul in an exhibition. Like, man, I'll just go fight him in an exhibition, get a ton of money, and I ain't got to worry about all these guys complaining about every fight that I have. And same thing for Errol Spence. Errol Spence said not all money is good money. He made sure he got a secure cash payment for himself. And now he's rich enough to where he can decide whether or not he wants to get punched upside the head for the entertainment of other people. But guess what? He's not going to want to do that if he feels like 90% of y'all are scumbags and he's already got enough money to walk away. Anyway, that's what I took from the Frank Martin interview. Not saying that Errol Spence isn't going to come back, that he wouldn't fight the winner of whatever and whatever. He may change his mind. But look, man, what he said, that he being Frank Martin, his take on Errol Spence, who he's very close with, makes Errol Spence's status sound very similar to Gervonta Davis's status, where it's very clear both these guys are looking for the way out because they're sick of all the garbage going on around them and their fights, which is not normal behavior. It's over the top, and I'm telling you, on many times, illegal behavior to prevent these guys from shining. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.